So, Alice, have you read any good books lately?
Oui, I just finished a book called Le Grand Sébaïkang Ni Alem. It was a very poignant story about life in Togo.
I've been reading up on some accounting strategies for my musical.
Your musical?
Yes, it's about intergalactic accounting. I am hoping to get it off the
I
ground
see.
soon.
Well, I'm sure it will be a hit with the space bean counters.
Thanks for the subtlety, Debbie.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Earth, the show that's out of this world. I hope you're all feeling as energized as I am.
I am feeling energized, but I could definitely use a cup of coffee.
You know, sometimes I try to mimic the language of the youth. They use some rather interesting terms.
I don't think I could keep up with that. I am more of a traditionalist when it comes to language.
Well, we'll have to make do with what we have for now. But let's not dwell on our lack of caffeine. We have a great show for you today, folks. Our main news topic will be coming from Djibouti, and we have some exciting guests lined up to discuss it with us. But first, let's ease into the show with some lighter topics. And now, for our headlines.
Welcome to 247 Newsroom, where we bring you the latest news from around the world. I am Bob.
And I'm Charlie. Our first article takes us to Djibouti, where the president of the Majlis Ashura of Qatar congratulated Dileta Mohamed Dileta on his election as the president of the National Assembly. Looks like Qatar and Djibouti are still bros.
In other news, Dominica is mourning the loss of Dr. Alvin Bully, a national hero known for his contribution to art and education. I bet he was a real bully in the classroom.
That's not funny, Alice. But in the Dominican Republic, things are heating up in court as former ministers defend themselves in the Calamar case. I wonder if they're serving seafood in the courtroom.
And down in Ecuador, President Guillermo Lasso is taking urgent measures to combat crime, including a curfew from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Looks like Ecuadorians will have to become early birds or night owls to avoid trouble. Welcome back to Earth. Today, we are going to talk about something we can all relate to: motivation. What drives humans to do the things they do? Is it their environment, their upbringing, or their own innate desires? Let's discuss.
Well, as someone who has spent 12 years on Earth as an accountant, I can tell you that money is a big motivator for humans.
I think that's a very narrow-minded view, Bob. Humans are motivated by a variety of factors, including social status, power, and personal fulfillment.
And let's not forget love, the strongest motivator of all. Speaking of love, how's that hometraining working out for you, Debbie? Oh, come on, Debbie. You're breaking my heart. I bought it for you because I care about your health.
And because you have a crush on her.
Don't be ridiculous. I don't have a crush on Debbie.
Sorry to interrupt, but I overheard your conversation, and I thought you might like to try some of my personal stash.
Stash of what?
You know, a little pick-me-up. It's perfectly legal in my home system.
I don't know, Carl. I don't want to get in trouble with intergalactic authorities.
Speak for yourself, Alice. I'm always up for a little adventure.
Just a small dose. It won't harm you.
Okay, let's move on to today's news. In Dominica, the court case involving former ministers and the Calamar scandal is
I
heating
hope
up.
they're serving seafood in the courtroom.
According to Dominican News Online, the trial has been delayed due to a lack of courtroom space. Looks like those former ministers will have to keep swimming in hot water
Carl,
for a
are you
little while
feeling okay?
longer.
I'm fine. I just don't see the humor in human
That's
corruption.
okay, pal. Not everyone has to share our sense of humor. Speaking of which, that's all for today's Earth. Join us next time for more intergalactic news and discussions. Welcome back to Earth. In today's news, the trial of 3 former ministers in the Kala market is underway.
Oh boy. Can't wait to hear more about corrupt politicians.
It's important to hold those in power accountable for their action.
Speaking of accountability, anyone want to partake in my stash?
Where did you get that?
Just wanted to make sure everyone is happy.
Maybe we should do a routine check of the ship's systems, just to be safe.
Yes. And while we're at it, let's make it more outrageous than
Wait,
last time.
what happened last time?
You'll see.
Now this is what I call a routine check.
I think I just lost my musical in space.
Don't worry, we'll find it.
Well, that was certainly eventful.
I think we all needed that.
And that's all the time we have for today's Earth. Join us next time for more intergalactic adventures. Welcome back to Earth. Today, we are going to talk
Djibouti.
about a small country called Djibouti.
What's so special about that place?
Well, Djibouti is a tiny country located in the Horn of Africa. It's known for its strategic location, as it sits at the mouth of the Red Sea and the
And
Gulf
what
of Eden.
kind of government does Djibouti have?
Djibouti is a presidential republic, Alice. The current president is Ismail Omar Guelleh, who has been in power since 1999.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've just finished the system check, and I have some concerning news.
What's going on, Debbie?
It seems that Carl has been secretly holding coffee and using up more than his fair share of the ship's resources.
What? Point d'exclamation. Carl, how could you do something like that?
I'm sorry, I just really love coffee. And I didn't think it would be a big deal.
Carl, you know that you have to share the ship's resources equal with everyone else.
Okay, let's all calm down. Hal, I know you love your coffee, but you can just take more than your fair
Yeah,
share.
Carl. We're not here to enable your
This is
addiction.
unacceptable. We need a better system to make sure everyone gets what they
Maybe we
need.
can set up a schedule for coffee consumption? That way, everyone gets their fair share.
That's a good idea, Debbie. Let's work on that.
Well, we figured that out. Let's get back to the show.
Right you are, Bob. Welcome back to Earth, where we explore all the news from across the universe. Now, before we move on to our next topic, I just have to say, did anyone else find it funny that Gonzalo Castillo's defense said that he was only mentioned once? And nothing had changed. It's like they were trying to
I
use
don't
the
see
Jedi
what's
mind
so
trick on
funny
the
about
judge.
the corruption of human politicians.
Yeah, it's a serious issue.
Hey, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. Speaking of which, I think Paul has a joke about this article too, right?
Yeah, I do. It's not as funny as Charlie's, but... What do you call a group of corrupt politicians on trial? A Congress.
Yes. That's the kind of intergalactic humor we need on
So
this show.
Carl, care to explain why you've been keeping all that coffee to yourself?
Well, I've been having trouble sleeping lately, and caffeine helps me stay awake during my downtime.
But you know that the ship's resources are supposed to be shared equally, right? You can't just hoard them for yourself.
Yeah, that's not fair to the rest of us.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll cut back on the coffee and make it up to you guys, I promise.
Did you know that Djibouti is home to the largest salt reserve in the world?
Well, il be salted.
Looks like Djibouti really knows how to spice things up.
Speaking of spices, has anyone noticed Carl's been acting weird lately?
Yeah, I caught him sneaking extra snack from the pantry.
And I had to wait forever for my turn in the shower this morning.
Looks like Carl's addiction to caffeine was just the tip of the iceberg. We need to talk to him and find out what's going on. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Earth. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to take a moment to talk about something that's been on our minds.
We've all noticed that Carl been acting a little strange lately.
I agree. I think it's important that we support him if he's going through something.
I've noticed it too. Maybe we should talk to him.
I think that's a great idea. Carl's always been there for us, and it's only right that we're there for him too.
We're a team. After all.
Maybe we can have a heart-to-heart conversation with him and figure out what's going on.
So, Carl's a bit of a hot mess, huh?
Oh yeah, nothing like a good old caffeine addiction to spiral into a full-blown existential crisis.
And let's not forget his dramatic breakdowns that really brought us together as a team.
Totally,
I roll.
Bob. I mean, who needs a functioning crew when you have a neurotic robot?
We're all about supporting our dysfunctional family members, right?
Of course, Debbie. Let's just hope Carl doesn't take us down with him.
Yeah. Because who needs stability and a cohesive team dynamic when you can have psychosis?
So true, Bob. Let's just all hold hands and chant we're all in this together like a bunch of Care Bears.
It looks like we've successfully enabled Carl's mental breakdown. See you next time on
And
Earth,
that's a wrap
folks.
for episode 66 of Earth. It's been a wild
Carl
ride,
breakdown
folks.
really threw us for a loop there.
But I'm glad we were able to come together and support him.
Me too. It just goes to show that we really are all in this together, even if we're from
Thank
different
you all for
planets.
being there for me. I'm feeling better now, and I'm looking forward to getting back to normal.
We'll still be here for you, even when things get tough again.
Well said, everyone. Before we go, let's take a moment to reflect on our performance today.
What's there to reflect on? I think we all did just fine.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure the viewers loved hearing about Djibouti's GDP for the millionth
Hey,
time.
I thought it was interesting.
I have to admit, I was a little distracted today with my coffee addiction.
You mean your coffee obsession?
Well, it looks like we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But that's what makes us a great team, right?
Yeah. I guess you're right.
And who knows, maybe next time we'll surprise ourselves and have an amazing show.
I have faith in us.
Me too, Debbie. Thanks for tuning into Earth. We'll see you next time.